what do we expect our audience to get from us, when we do these recordings? Like, what's the format? What are people going to get? Like, what are they going to be tuning into?
Yeah, they're going to be tuning into just two people, two guys who have found some success in business, but are still practicing in business, kind of front line still.
Hmm.
So we're talking from a place of experience of like last week or even just yesterday.
Yeah.
Times change and things change, and we live in obviously a really interesting landscape now with everything virtual. I think business is changing because of the new reality we live in as well. So I think Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of I Squared, the Subtleties of Success. I'm here with Jimmy Cusimano. So Jimmy, what is I Squared? I know we've been talking about this for a while, but why don't you give people some insight as to what I Squared is?
Yeah, so I Squared basically stands for Incremental Improvements. And I know when you and I were thinking about, what do we want this conversation, to be all about? And who do we want it to be for? Like we just started to think about what are the little things that make business owners and entrepreneurs successful. And I think like you and I were talking about, okay, it's not about, these large dramatic things that you can do in your business or in your career that are going to make a difference. Now they might make a difference for a year or two, right? Like how many times can we think about when businesses just have like an anomaly year where they knock it out of the park, then all of a sudden the next year they regress, right? I know it's happened in my business. I know it's happened in your business. And I think over time, it's just thinking about like those little things that create sustainable success. So there's a phrase called Kaizen. It's a Japanese term that basically talks about how the little things, the small steps of continuous improvement is really going to create like a compounding effect, and scale, whatever you're trying to do into something much larger by doing the small things that we don't necessarily think about are going to make a big difference in the long run. So to me, that's what I Squared is about. It's about incremental success, and I'm excited to have this conversation with you on a weekly basis and just start, talking with other entrepreneurs and business owners in the community and see what I Squared means to them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a subtle thing. Success. It's a very subtle thing. And I always hear people say, gosh, I think I can do that. Or I think I can do this, or I'm capable of doing this. And I think the people who actually do it versus the people who don't do it is people that just pay attention to the details and just do like the habitual things on a daily basis that are really small but just add up over time. And I think that's what separates a lot of people.
Right.
So no, I'm excited to have this conversation, and I know we've talked a number of times over the past few months about different ideas and different things, and we've kind of seen a bit of a, not really a void, but we've seen opportunity in the marketplace for other entrepreneurs, where you and I talk and we say, gosh, if more people knew about this thing, it could really help their business outside of financial services stuff.
Right.
So I kind of want to go into that. Like, what do you think this, or who do you hope this I Squared podcast or video cast, whatever you call it, would be best for, or what people do you think would get the most value from this conversation that we have?
Yeah. So I mean, who are we doing this for, right? It's not just for you and I. I mean, we see each other, quite a bit, right, in real life. But I think ultimately it's about entrepreneurs and people that are business owners or working for themselves or for their families, for their teams. And I think about the common characteristic that we business owners and entrepreneurs have is we don't have a manual for our business.
Yeah.
Right. There is no HR book that we're given from day one of starting this business. And so I think ultimately for us, being able to just collaborate and find out hey, what are some of the things that you're doing, in your law practice as an example, that can be relatable to, somebody that's listening that has an accounting practice, or us in the financial service industry, what are some of the things that we're thinking about and doing that can be applicable to a business owner that owns a gym or a franchise.
Mhm.
So I just think that there's going to be some commonalities and some things that we're going to be able to echo, through our dialogue. And our hope, again, is that this is going to bring others, not just people in our inner circle, but maybe some folks that are going to connect with us on LinkedIn and other media platforms to be able to join the conversation and contribute to our community.
Yeah, man, that's a great way to put it. Just collaboration and contribution to the overall community. I think is hitting it right on the head. So, Jimmy, can you share with people a little bit more about you and your business, and kind of give people an idea that we're not just talking out of thin air. We're coming from a place of experience.
Yeah. So Jimmy Cusimano, financial advisor and founder of Cusimano Financial Wealth Management and Insurance Services. We've got a team of 4 in Orange County, and thankfully, I mean, one of the silver linings to the way we do work now is that we've been able to just branch off and work, outside of just our local communities, through technology. And really what we do is we do financial planning. Our specialty is retirement income planning. So we just want to make sure that we can help our clients and their families, one, never run out of money, two, not pay any more tax than they have to when they're growing their wealth and distributing it, and three, being able to leave a legacy for the people and organizations that they care deeply about. And so that's in a nutshell what we do. And currently we serve about 350 households, mostly in California, but also across the country as well. So I'll turn the tables and just ask you, Greg, share with me a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, so just so people know, I as well am a financial advisor. I've been practicing for 6 years out of Long Beach, California. Similar setting in terms of how we help our clients on a lot of different ways, from retirement and obviously a lot of tax saving strategies as well. But I think for me, one thing I've really learned through building a practice and building a team is just understanding that we truly are in business. I mean, Jimmy and I have built our clientele from ground up, and same thing with me. Serve about 300 households as well. And we know how it is to start with absolutely nothing but some names and the phone, and building an enterprise. And we're looking to take things to the next level as well. And the the opportunity seems really endless, because our goal with our practices is to have a full-on enterprise. And Jimmy's been practicing for, how long has it been now?
Man, 14 years.
14 years, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm
time
the old
flies.
the old cranky advisor now that I guess these days, right? I'm not the young up and comer like you, man.
Yeah, no, and I think a lot of people are even unaware about even how the financial advisory business
Yeah,
works, and it truly is a business. I mean, it's all
totally,
on you, and
totally.
it's no different than opening up a taco shop and stay in business. You got to sell some tacos, and for us, we got to get some clients and drive revenue to pay our employees and things like that.
Yeah,
So that's where
absolutely,
we're coming from, in terms of you know running our own business and being businessmen slash
totally, man.
financial advisors. So
And it's just so interesting, right? Because you described, what you do and why you do, financial services and why you decided to and serve the 300 households that you're working with. So if you can just share with the audience, Greg, I mean, what does I squared mean to you? Like when you think about it, why is it important to you to have this dialogue, and share it with everyone?
yeah, I think the biggest reason why it's important to me is because we know how it feels to be the long shot, and making it past 5 years is a bit of a landmark for anybody in business.
Mm,
And when I think about what made me different to make it past 5 years, or think about what made you different to go on to year 14, I mean, it's so many subtle things. I think there's a lot of people that I know, friends, family, people who are just as capable, equally as smart, but are not paying attention to the details or taking ownership over just like the small things that you could control, whether it is, uh, one simple word or phrase that you use that changes the whole trajectory of if you get a client or not.
Right.
How you talk about your services, how you carry yourself. There's so many subtle things, and when you tie it together, boom, you're in business and you have longevity. And I think for anybody who's in business and understands that it's hard to be in business for a long period of time, I think we have a sense of fulfillment just passing that on, and giving that same opportunity because there's enough there's enough seats at the table here in Southern California for more
Yeah.
people to eat. And I don't know, I just think it's kind of it's just fun to pass it on, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what it
Yeah.
means to me.
Totally, man.
Mhm.
What are some examples that you can think about, whether it's in your business? I know with Money Tree Mondays, you're getting the opportunity to go out there and connect with other business owners and hear their stories. But can you give us an example that comes to mind when you think about a subtlety of success?
Yeah, no, we talked about it last time. One thing um, that has really made an impact in my business is talking, communicating to clients through storytelling.
Mm,
That is just huge, and not made up stories, but really getting people connected to what the whole purpose of making, in our space, we're doing financial advising. So why should someone invest here or do this or do this? Ultimate goal is to have a better outcome. And
right.
what that means for them and their family, more time, more freedom, being able to just enjoy life. And so like really sharing those stories from people that we've learned or met from the past, past advisors, seeing their clients and just sharing those stories as opposed to talking to people about, hey, you should do this investment or you should put your money here or the tax benefits are good here. And it's like, I did that for 2 3 years. And the moment I started talking from a story level, I think it really made me connect with people a lot more and made a big impact in my
Totally.
business.
Totally.
Yeah. How about you? What are some things?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I think about, um, like in our business in particular, is what's the one thing that if we did that one thing, everything else would matter less.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is that I think about many business owners that I know or entrepreneurs, right? They wake up in the morning, or maybe unfortunately at times they can't sleep at night because they're constantly thinking about that laundry list of things that they have to do
Hmm.
that very next day. And that's just on the business side. So that's not factoring in our wives, our significant others, our children, families, things like that. And so when I think about one of the subtleties that seems to be a common theme for many business owners is just finding that one thing. And what inspired me was there's a book actually called The One Thing by Gary Keller, and it just really talks about identifying what it is that you can do on a daily basis. And so in our business, Greg, and maybe it's very similar, is one of the most important things that we can do is marketing and finding out how we can reach out to new prospective clients that need our help, and all the things that you just talked about, right? All the things that we can do from a financial planning standpoint, the retirement analysis, the social security strategies, the insurance planning, the education funding. I mean, all of that. Basically, it's fun stuff, and those are all tools to help our clients get what they want. But if we don't have clients, then we're not in business. We're not in business, right? So I think the one thing, in our business is just carving out that time and being proactive with finding ways to reach our community and finding new prospects. So that's, something over the course of these conversations that I'm excited to find out is to really, hear from other business owners and entrepreneurs about what's their one thing, and how does that connect with other folks that are going to be tuning in.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that as well from other people. That's actually really thanks for sharing that. That's really cool. I mean, I've heard of
Yeah.
that book, The One Thing, but that really is when you put it like that, makes a ton of sense, and you can see how that really can drive results for people, just focusing on one thing.
Yeah. So let me shift gears real quick, man, and let's just talk big picture. What do we expect our audience to get from us, when we do these recordings? Like, what's the format? What are people going to get? Like, what are they going to be tuning into?
Yeah, they're going to be tuning into just two people, two guys who have found some success in business, but are still practicing in business, kind of front line still. So we're talking from a place of experience of like last week or even just yesterday. Times change and things change, and we live in obviously a really interesting landscape now with everything virtual. I think business is changing because of the new reality we live in as well. So I think people are going to what they can expect is really just real life, what's it called, case study, so to speak.
Yeah.
And collaboration, like you mentioned earlier in the beginning.
Totally.
Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think these 20-minute conversations or so, they're going to fly by so quick, just because things are going to start to branch from our dialogue. But what I'm hopeful for is that over time we start to bring in other business owners, other entrepreneurs that want to share their story and what are their subtleties of success. And so for the audience, one of the names, you and I just came up with this literally 5 minutes before we hopped on this call, is what's maybe one takeaway that we can leave at the end of each session that can hopefully impact at least one listener. Right? I think for us that's going to be a tremendous win, is if we can have that one takeaway to impact one listener, then this whole time of dialogue and spending it together will be so worth it. And so the name that came to mind is the Golden Nugget. So, hey, we're open to a name change if anybody else can think of something more creative. But Greg and I, when we think about the subtleties of success, the incremental impact that we can have, it's just these little golden nuggets that just keep adding up over time. And so we're going to end every session with the golden nugget, and we're excited to collaborate on that and share it with everyone that's tuning in.
Yeah, that's perfect. That golden nugget is in essence a subtlety that people can take away and apply right away. So that's what we're hoping to leave every episode with. So cool, man. Well, it was cool getting this thing started, and we will definitely get back together and talk on some topics and make sure we have one golden nugget for our next episode. But at least we're able to introduce ourselves and kind of the goal of this whole video series or podcast series.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm a little nervous. All right, I've never done something like this before, but I'm very excited, man, and looking forward to the next session.
Yeah, and whatever you guys, anybody who sees this, if you could comment or if you have any suggestions, feel free. This is definitely an open forum, and we are trying to make, establish somewhat of a community for sure, because this is bigger than, Jimmy and myself. So,
absolutely.
Thanks for tapping in. Catch you guys next time.
Later.